If I could go back in time and teach myself a few key lessons that would cause me to be more prosperous than I ever imagined, this would be the video that I would want to watch. The truth is that success is not about luck. It's about applying principles early and often over a long period of time, being consistent. Hi, I'm Jason Ellinger, CEO of Taika Translations, and I want to share with you 7 lessons that changed my life forever after I learned them. And hopefully, if you take and apply some of them to your life, you'll be able to avoid some of the pitfalls that I've made and engage in success faster because you're consistently applying the principle over time. Now let's get into it. So I want to give you a disclaimer before we go through the life lessons. Okay, they're not in a specific order, and some of them are equal value or more value than the previous. So I just compile them together, and I put them in this order, but it does not necessarily mean one or the other is more or less important. Some of them are just simply equal to the previous one. So just keep that in mind as you go through these lessons. So number 1 is the champion mindset. Successful people are not the smartest people in the room. They don't have to be. They are simply ruthlessly focused. They cut out distractions and they say no to anything that does not align with their vision for the future. Anything that doesn't coincide with what they're after and what they're working to accomplish, they cut it out of their life. And this is something that's hard for so many people, but this is a very important number 1. When I was building this house, I had to cut out every distraction, every event that I would rather have gone to because I had to build. I love building. It's one of the things I actually do in my hobbies. So building my house was a natural thing for me to want to do, and I always wanted to build a house for my family, and so it was a big goal of my life, and so I did it. But I had to, during that 12-month period, it took me 12 months from foundation to move into the house. To be able to build the entire thing, I had to find a couple other people to help me and then move through the process of building it. But I had to say no to everything else in my entire life. Events, the only thing I did besides build was go to a couple meetings from our company and show up to church on Sunday morning. That's it. Other than that, I built. Monday through Friday, Saturday. Monday through Saturday, we just worked. And a key point in this life lesson is that at first, when you start doing anything of great scale or anything of greatness, you will fail. You will suck and you will not succeed at first. And keeping the mindset that you must eliminate everything else out of your life and focus exclusively on the goal and pursue it with all of the talent, skill, and strength that you have, which is not going to be enough at first, that you're going to have to improve upon before you're worthy of being able to get closer to your goal. That is what it's going to take to help you start to suck less as you hone your skill through the process of and furnace of trial and error. And I think that's so important for people to realize that as you start on your journey, you're going to suck really badly, and you should not expect to do it well. And the problem is nobody wants to continue doing something hard that they don't do well. Okay, so people are willing to go forwards even if it's challenging if they can do it well. But at first, you're not going to do it well at all. You're going to suck. You just have to work at it over time through the furnace of trial and error to suck less. And then eventually you suck less enough that you'll actually be good and you'll actually be able to go on and build whatever it is you're working towards building. So this is number 1, keeping that mindset of focus, eliminating all of those other distractions out of your life, and then realizing that you are going to suck and you just got to get to where you suck less, and then you're able to make some progress. Remember how I talked about how some of these are equal or as important as the previous? This is definitely one of them. Consistency in action against the wall. You in your business are trudging along your way. You're trudging down the path to success. You're working hard. You're marketing and doing your sales and learning accounting and learning how to be a leader and all of these things. And there is an impending wall that sits somewhere along your journey. And it's not at the beginning. The beginning, there are some hoops and some big problems to avoid and to learn and to get past. And that's just kind of learning and becoming better. But there is a wall that is standing along your business journey. And this was a lesson that I didn't learn at first in my business. And I made a few mistakes. And the mistakes that I made is once I hit the wall, I was like, man, this is a really hard wall. Dang, this really sucks. What can I do? And I looked over here and I said, well, What if I go do that thing and maybe then I don't have to deal with the wall? And that was a big mistake. And so this lesson, although it's the second on the list, is also number one. Because no matter where you are in business or what business you're in, this wall, it exists. It is standing there in your pathway at some point of the journey. And it's like more like 70% down the path to success. It's not at like 10% or 3%. It's not even at 25%. It's probably, I don't even think it's at 50%. It's somewhere beyond 50% after that mark, somewhere in the range of 50 to 80% range of you building your business. And there stands this freaking unbelievable, ridiculous, impossible to get through wall. Well, it's seemingly impossible. And the mistake is to think that there's another business that doesn't have this wall. And that's a complete farce. Once you come in contact with the wall, and you will know when you come in contact with the wall, I'll define it in a minute. You have two choices. One, get through the wall, bust it through it, bust a hole through it and get through it. Or two, go start another business and end up at the same wall 5 years later. So I just want to stress the point and make sure that you hear this, that the wall is there and you will hit it. Guaranteed. No matter the business that you're in. Wall is defined as the spot in your business where you don't know how to move forward, you lack the resources, and most of your success and growth for your business is on the other side. You got to think of this wall as something you cannot get over, you can only get through. You have a big hammer, the wall is made of freaking reinforced concrete and steel, but you do not get to the next stage of business where your exponential growth is until you get through the wall. You must get through the wall. There is no exception. You will hit the wall. And many times, people in business, they work for 70%. They go on this journey for like that 70% period of working towards great success. And they hit the wall and they just stay there. They just sit down at the wall and do business as usual, kind of get this Monday success. And they're like, it's okay, but I just stay here. And the wall is too big and too thick and nobody can get through it on the other side. When there's like one or two people that are on the other side, it's like, hey, this is freaking amazing. We're achieving the best success of our life. Or they hit the wall and they go decide to do another business only to realize in 5 years they work. And again, that's 70% of the effort that you're going to have to put in to get successful before you actually reach any level of exponential success. They hit the wall again and they're stuck there. And if I could go back and learn this lesson, I would have saved myself probably a couple of years of my life fooling around with a shiny object, doing the shiny object syndrome and getting distracted instead of just beating on the wall until we freaking busted a hole through it. And so that's the wall. Consistency in action against the wall. You can't stop at the wall. You can't get distracted at the wall. You have to go through the wall, because that is the only way that you will ultimately reach the most meaningful success in all of your life and business. And so don't ever try to go around the wall or don't get distracted once you hit the wall. Extraordinary results don't come from big dramatic moves in another direction. They come from a consistent, ruthless beating on the freaking wall. You've got a hammer, you're standing in front of it, you just got a bunch of elbow grease and your hammer, and you just hammer on that wall until you bust through it. That's it. You can't do anything else. You have to get through the wall. You don't know how thick it is, you don't know how much rebar it is, and you don't know how long it's going to take, but you must get through that wall. If you show up every day, if you do your best, learn more stuff and apply it, you will get more and more leverage as you keep slamming on that wall. And you engage your team in slamming on the wall and just beating the living heck out of it until you get through it. And you will get through it. And on the other side, you'll achieve success that you never even dreamed that was possible. Or maybe you dreamed it was possible and you hoped it was possible. You just didn't know for sure. And you're just like, man, maybe it is possible, but I'm not sure. It's there. It is possible, but you have to get through the wall. And that wall is what's keeping you back from getting there. And so the wall, it exists in every business. Don't fool yourself. Don't think it's easier somewhere else. It's not. You have to get through the wall. So the third thing is this. People chase wealth. People chase money. But the truth is that your reputation and your ability to demonstrate value compound much faster than wealth. When you focus on building genuine relationships and helping others, opportunities come to you much, much easier. Money is a byproduct of reputation and the value you create in service to others. Two of the best books that I've ever read on this subject are The Proximity Principle by Ken Coleman and Thou Shalt Prosper by Daniel Athen. They talk about your service to those around you and the trust that you build through your reputation being so much more valuable than investing your money in something that will increase by a percentage over time. If you invest in trust, reputation, and values to others by service, you will inherently increase your wealth by tenfold just by doing this one thing well. And that's the third lesson. Now, 4, but also 1. The Stockdale Paradox. The Stockdale Paradox was something that I learned probably about 6 years into business that changed my life. It was such a big differentiator that I started talking about it in almost every area of our business. And to this very day, if you talk to my team, they know what the Stockdale Principle is, every single member on my team, because they've heard me talk about it so many times because it's such an integral part of our success. Now, Admiral Stockdale, he was an admiral, got shot down in Vietnam, and he was put in a prison camp, and he talks about the mentality, the mental fortitude that it takes to get through and get out of a prison camp. And he says it like this: you have to confront the most brutal facts of today, of your reality, your current reality today, and maintain the discipline to have faith that this might just become one of the most defining moments in your life, and you will get through it. So confronting the most brutal facts of reality right now today, and maintaining faith that in the end you will prevail, and that this could become one of the most defining moments of your entire life, setting yourself up for the future. And when you hit the wall, or when you come into contact with some circumstances that are bleak, and you will inevitably in your business, guarantee it, even the most successful billion-dollar businesses out there, they hit circumstances in their business and it's like, crap, this is really bad. This is hard. This is challenging, and I don't know how to move forwards. But the Stockdale Paradox reminds us that when you're in the midst of it, and he was talking about being in the midst of being tortured in a concentration camp in Vietnam, the Hanoi Hilton. He was talking about maintaining that faith that in the end, I will prevail in this circumstance. How can you maintain that? If I could put all of these as first, this would be one of the ones in line with first. It's fourth, but it's also first, because maintaining this mentality that you will have faith that you can prevail in the end, it helps you to overcome so many different challenges in your life and in your business. And in this case, it helped Admiral Stockdale to overcome a concentration camp. So that's lesson 4. And I would urge you to adopt that same mentality. Apply the mental Stockdale framework to your life and you'll achieve better success. And as you're going through those brutal facts of reality, you'll have a much more hopeful outlook that, yes, we will overcome this and we will get through this and it will actually cause some good. All right, defining happiness. This is number 5. Happiness does not come from achieving everything you want or getting to the point where you can sit on the beach and just drink Mai Tais and do nothing. Of the millionaires that I've known that have gotten to the place where they can just go and sit and do nothing on the beach for long periods of their life, adding no value to anyone, they have become unbelievably miserable. And actually, after that fact, have said, you know what? It motivated me to go back to work and work harder than I did before, because I realized that achieving that level of doing nothing on a beach somewhere in the middle of nowhere is ultimately such a vain pursuit that I would waste my life trying to get to that point. And so they said, no, I'm going to take my life and go back to doing these things. 1, developing a spirit of gratitude and contentment for the present. For what I have right now, I'm going to be grateful. Whether that's $10 or whether it's $10 million. Right now, I'm going to develop an attitude of gratefulness and contentment, and these are choices. You choose to be grateful and you choose to be content. This is worth its weight in gold or more. Because if you can make this a part of your life, this a habit in your life, you will produce more wealth than you could ever imagine. If I would learn this earlier, it would have helped me to be a lot happier in the darker situations of my life and help me to produce more wealth faster. All right, so the fifth life lesson is this. So, quick story. I've known millionaires that have achieved great success, and they get to the point where they can just sit on the beach for the rest of their entire life, drink Mai Tais, and do absolutely nothing. And what they realize is they got to that point, and they're like, heck, this is really bad. I hate this life. I actually had much more fun, and I loved my life a lot more when I was sacrificing, when I didn't know what the future was going to hold, and I wasn't quite sure if we could make it, but we were trying. And now I got to this point, and it's like, wait a minute, I'm not doing any of that stuff anymore, and I'm not excited about life anymore, and I'm not investing or using all these great talents and skills that I've developed over my lifetime, and now I'm just sitting here on the beach doing nothing. Heck no. And they use that motivation. They're like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. I'm going to go back to doing my job, and I'm going to do it better before. Or start a new company completely, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to take it from ground zero to millions and millions and millions. And with all of that, I'm going to build a legacy. I'm going to change people's lives. I'm going to give. I'm going to do all these great things, and they get back in the process of doing it again. But this time, doing it with the understanding that they're not going to stop, that they're going to continue on throughout their lifetime. And here's 3 reasons why. Because developing a spirit of contentment and gratefulness is something that you decide today. It's not somewhere out there that I'm going out into the universe to find happiness. These are decisions. So the number 1 principle for happiness is gratefulness and contentment are a decision that you make right now today. You and I make this decision right now. Am I going to be happy and content, grateful and content for what I have right now? Yes or no? That is going to determine how happy you're going to be able to be today. And 2, identify who you are and what you personally want in your life that's worth valuing. Remember the millionaire, the guy got to the beach, sat on the beach for a couple of months, and it was like, holy crap, this is a valueless, worthless life that I never wanted. I'm going back to do something meaningful. And he got back into the game and started working to build wealth and to actually make a difference with the wealth that he was given. And he actually changed his mentality from becoming a consumer of the wealth that he's created to a steward, just to someone who has something that's very valuable, and he's using that to its maximum capacity for good in the world. So identify who you personally are and what you personally truly value that is actually worth valuing. Sitting on the beach for months and months and months and months and months out of your lifetime, that's not really truly valuable. Me personally, that's not a problem because I enjoy work. It's just it's a characteristic of who I am. I understand that my entire life, I'm never going to stop working. I'm not a workaholic, but I just like work. I just like working through the challenging process and creating a really awesome result in the end. That's part of my character. So I don't have the problem with sitting on the beach. I do like to go to the beach once in a while. I do like to go to the beach and sit there for a week and a half. That's awesome. But I love coming back to work and doing the work that we do because ultimately for me, it's not about I'm not after going and being able to do nothing. I'm after using my life to the fullest potential that we possibly can and taking all that we've been given and using it to steward it for good in this world. I think we were all created for that. And to the extent that you find that purpose in your life and you actually start to live it out and administrate your life in such a way, you rob yourself of a lot of happiness. And so this is point number 2. And then point number 3 is associated with point number 2, and it is create a purpose-driven vision for your life that causes you to do something huge. So this is based on point on 1 and 2, right? Choosing to be content and choosing to be grateful, and then identifying what you personally value, and then letting that thing that you personally value motivate you to cause prosperity and to influence your life, your family's life, your kids' life, your relatives' lives, whoever's lives that you care about, whoever the people are in your life that you actually love and care about and want to make a difference in, to actually get up, go and do something meaningful and huge that costs you a lifetime of work. That rolls us into item number 6. Now this I'm labeling it 6, but also 1. When you start working, when you start growing your business, when you start doing anything of value, and you have to bring a team into the mix to help you, Anything that you're going to do, if it's going to be any level of greatness, is going to require a team. And if you're developing as a leader, if you're going to bring people into a vision, you are robbing them if you don't do this well. I'm going to go through 5 points, and I learned this from Patrick Lencioni from his book, The Ideal Team Player. If I would have learned this earlier in my life, it would have helped my business in leaps and bounds much faster. But I'm sharing this with you right now in hopes that you take and apply it. And actually, maybe you just go buy the book. There's a link in the description. You can go buy the book. But click on the link, go buy the book, and learn about this important principle, which is eliminating the 5 dysfunctions of a team in your life. Before I knew this principle, I didn't know that I needed to invest this level of discipline in eliminating these dysfunctions from the team that I had grown. So, but now I know this, and now I do it in every team that we have constantly, and it's a never-ending process. But if I had learned this earlier, we would be much more successful, much faster, and that's what I'm hoping for you. Number 1 is you have a responsibility as a leader to create a vulnerability-based trust level on your team. It is a responsibility. To the extent that you do this or you don't do this, you are derelict or successful in your role as a leader. You have a responsibility to create a vulnerability-based team in your business, in your objective, in the effort that you're making. If you're even if you're in a volunteers team somewhere abroad and you're leading that team, you have a responsibility. And to the extent that you do this well, people get more fulfillment, they're more connected, they're more hopeful for the future, and they ultimately trust each other more. Any lack of those things, or anybody who thinks that a team should lack those things shouldn't be a leader. So that's step number 1. The second thing is the necessity of conflict, early and often, based on vulnerability-based trust. Based on number 1, the necessity of conflict. You can't have conflict in your company or in your team or in your volunteer group if you don't trust each other. And if you don't build a foundation of trust first, you won't be able to have healthy conflict. There must be conflict, and I guarantee you there will be conflict in every team or anyone who's doing something valuable or working to prosper over time or provide any level of excellence and value in the marketplace or to a social group of people or helping people. There will be conflict. The question is for the leader is this healthy conflict because we have a team built on a foundation of trust, a vulnerability-based trust one towards another. The third thing is you as a leader have to use the above 2, vulnerability-based trust and conflict, to create commitment. This is a responsibility. It's something that you must do. And to the extent that you do it or don't do it, again, you're derelict or successful in your leadership skills and your ability to move things forwards. This is so important, guys. I can't stress these points enough because they truly turn the tide from you having a mundane, relatively successful team to a massively successful, not just successful, but intensely fulfilling team. There's a huge difference. All right, that leads to the 4th one in this section, and that is having the patience and the discipline to do the required follow-up. But you can't do the required follow-up and accountability if 1 through 3 is not done well. And so many of us as leaders, we start out as leaders, we turn into bosses, we develop ourselves as leaders, and then we learn these things and apply them. And we don't do them well at first, and we fail. We look around and we're like, man, this team really sucks. No, you suck as a leader because you haven't developed vulnerability-based trust. You haven't driven to commitment through conflict. You are not going around to your team each and every week, week after week, maintaining a discipline of accountability, following up on the things that you guys have talked about, talking through them, making sure that you're doing your job as a leader. And I didn't realize this was my job at first. I didn't know that. I mean, I thought I worked to grow our business and I gave people tasks and they did the task really well. And I didn't have to follow up on it because nobody has to follow up on me doing stuff because I just get stuff done and they don't have any questions and I don't have to worry about trust because people are always mature and they never have any trouble and they never have any interrelational situations going on and there's no problems and there's no drama. Because I try to live a low drama life because I'm a hard charger. I charge forwards and I don't look at all the collateral damage that might be around me. And I had to stop doing that. And I had to say, wait a minute, I've got to take time to focus on building a team that trusts one another. Trust one another to fight with one another, because they know when they fight with each other, they're not fighting to tout their own opinion or their pride. They're fighting because they believe in what we're doing, and they passionately have an opinion about the direction we should go that will help us all prosper together. And then once we've all been heard, because we've been able to have a good argument based on vulnerability-based trust, now we are committed to each other. We're committed to the thing because we've all been heard, even though we are doing the thing that was not my opinion, but we're doing the thing that was my team member's opinion because it's probably the best way to go, because that's most likely what's going to lead us to better success. Okay, that's great. We hold each other accountable with results, and we can do that because we have vulnerability-based trust and we've been heard and we have commitment. Then we get to the point where we can measure every possible thing that points to winning. It has to do with accountability, of course, but we measure the results. We check in on what the results are of this whole collective of activity that we have done that moved us to this point. And now we've measured this results, and we pay attention to what those results are. And we say, okay, this actually collective effort was great and had a great outcome. This collective effort kind of sucked. We need to change our whole self, all of our team together. We need to fix this. So let's go in that direction. Okay, now we're going in that direction towards where we're paying attention to great results in the end. And this is all outlined in great detail in the book, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. Get it, read it, apply it. That's the 6th lesson I learned, but it's also like a 1. It's up there on one of the very top lessons. I know this is a long video, and I know there's a lot of content in this video, but truly, these are real points that I learned. If I would have watched this video earlier on in my life would be much wealthier, much faster, and more fulfilling. 7th point is this: the value of truth and faith. Guys, the value of truth and faith, 7th and 1. A few times in my life, I lost sight that I could and ultimately would eventually accomplish my dream. Your dream is too valuable. Your life is too valuable. Your peace, your investment, the time that you have is too valuable for you to lose sight of and lose hope in the fact that you can and one day will accomplish and realize your dream. What I learned is that your dream is too valuable to stop pursuing. The Bible has a verse in it. If you've listened to me or seen any of my other videos, you know I'm a Christian and I believe in the Bible, and it has a verse in it that says that hope deferred makes the heart sick. This is the old English version. I know I'm an old guy, but whatever. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but when desire comes, it's a spring of life. Spring of life, giving that beautiful picture that when you have hope deep inside your soul that you can and ultimately will accomplish that great and powerful dream that you were created for. You know you were created for something greater than this, and you do truly want that, but you're like, but for me, it's probably not possible. I didn't come from a family of great wealth, and I didn't come from a family of great wealth. I didn't come from a background of knowledge. I don't know I'm not a great business person. I'm not a great leader. I don't have the pedigree of being a great leader. That's who you're looking at right here. I don't have whatever it is. You have 10,000 excuses. Came from the wrong side of the tracks, the bad area of the neighborhood, the sticks out in the countryside. Like, that's where I came from, the sticks. Your dream is too valuable to stop pursuing. You can accomplish your dream in your lifetime. You can do it. You can do this, and you should. And I think you have a responsibility to humanity to do it. The vastness of your dream should not scare you. You should never let that scare you, but you should channel that into motivation and inspiration to act, to take massive actions in the direction toward your dream with as much intensity and fire as you could possibly muster. And then grab some more fire from around you somewhere so that you can invest it and channel that towards your goal, channel that towards your dream, channel that towards your lifetime vision. Because your dream should require an entire lifetime of investment. It should. by definition, require an entire lifetime of you investing your entire life in something that's valuable to accomplish something great. So a worthy dream, a worthy future reality requires a lifetime of investment, of daily sacrifice, of what might be required to do that sacrifice. Maybe, obviously, you're going to have to stay healthy for a long time. So the daily sacrifice of eating well and exercising well so that you can be in the condition that you need to be able to perform over time. Maybe the daily exercise of learning something new and applying that new thing, or the daily exercise of using and wisely budgeting your money so that you can point it towards that thing that you're after, and the daily discipline of believing that you have been created for something great and you can ultimately work towards that thing, that dream, that vision. And you should never lose sight of the fact that you can and ultimately one day will prevail, referring to the Stockdale paradox. And if you lose sight of that fact, you rob the world of the most precious and valuable contribution that you can apply, that you can bring to it and give it. And I think that every single one of us was created for something unbelievably great and unimaginably wonderful. The relationships that we can cultivate, the talents that we have, the creativity and beauty that we can bring into the marketplace, as unique as each and every one of us. And we all have a great responsibility to achieve our lifetime dream, our vision, the big and amazing thing in the future that, oh man, I would love to achieve that. It would just be the best thing I could ever imagine if I could just achieve that thing. And a couple times in my life, when the going got tough, I lost sight that I could still win, that I could still do it. The investment was too heavy, too hard, and I wasn't enough. And you can't, and I can't afford to lose sight of that. The truth is that you can and ultimately will, if you stick at it and use these principles that I've taught today. If you stick at it, you can and you will accomplish that vision, that dream that you have. And no one else is responsible for that except for you. And if you, along the way, allow yourself to be distracted and stop applying yourself to move forwards in your life towards that beautiful vision and that great dream that you have, that's welling up somewhere deep within your heart, you steal the magnificence that you have to offer the world. And I think that's a mistake. So in this 7th but one lesson, I want to encourage you. I want you to nail this down in your mind and in your heart, in your very core of your being. You can accomplish your dream. You can do it. And it should require a lifetime of investment. And you can do it. For you, because it's your dream and your life. So invest it. Create the incredible magnificence that you were created to, that you've been blessed with being able to accomplish, because only you have that specific dream. And go about the business of doing it, because after all, it is your dream and your life. So one of the biggest differences between those people who succeed and those who don't is how fast they learn and apply what they've learned. So now I want you to tell me which one of these lessons hit home for you. Drop it in the comments below and let's talk about it. And if this video was in any way, shape, or form helpful to you, please share it with somebody who could benefit from it. And if you want more videos like this, please like and subscribe to this channel, because it helps us to make more content like this and lets me know that you actually like content like this and it's beneficial. The more engagement we have, the more we can create great videos that truly help you grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.